What is up, everybody? VFM, the Epic One here. Time for a brand new segment of The Verdict for all of you guys out there. This time, I'm talking about The Expendables 2. Recently released, pretty awesome movie. Stars Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Terry Crews, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis. A whole ensemble of classic 80s action movie, superstars. All coming together into one giant action movie epic, I want to say. So, that being said, how good is this movie? Well, first off, what is it about? It's basically a continuation of the original Expendables movie, its predecessor. Only this time, we're following the group of mercenaries that are led by Sylvester Stallone into a whole bunch of different missions that they get involved with, not only to get paid, but also a bunch of personal stuff that happens along the way that, get involved with this main villain who's played by Jean-Claude Van Damme. So, this movie, in of itself, just the star power behind it is ridiculous. Let me put it that way, because just alone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, and Sylvester Stallone in the same movie, and it's not just a cameo appearance, is one thing. But then when you throw guys like Jean-Claude Van Damme, when you throw in guys like Chuck Norris into the whole mix, the movie just takes on a whole nother life of itself. With that being said, though, one thing I should mention, unlike its predecessor, this movie doesn't so much, go crazy in the whole story element and building up these characters as its predecessor did. One thing that this movie does right, though, which is a big homage to, action movie fans and a love letter to the whole genre in general, is that there is constant action being thrown in your face, minutes after minutes after minutes of just crazy action. It just does not let up. From the very beginning of the movie, which is not even 5 minutes into the movie, something is just exploding or some type of stuff is going down from the very get-go. The whole opening sequence is the team of the Expendables actually trying to go and break out Arnold Schwarzenegger from being captured by some group of mercenaries or whatnot. But it's really, really cool. On top of that, you got some really good underlying humor throughout the entire movie, including, funny scenes, throughout with Terry Crews, which I thought were hilarious. A lot of the humor, especially in classic action movies, if you've ever seen any of the action movies from the 80s, a lot of the humor is pretty cheesy, but it kind of works for what's going on in the actual plot of the story. Really out there, some of it is just borderline ridiculous, but you can't help but laugh, in the light of all these explosions and people getting killed and stuff. There's really one funny scene involving Chuck Norris when you finally first see him for the first time that, it's utterly hilarious. I'm not going to spoil what it is, as far as, what the joke is and stuff, but it is a Chuck Norris joke. Let me put it that way. Everybody in the theater, when they heard that and saw what was going on, they just died of laughter because it was utterly hilarious. One thing I got to give credit to Chuck Norris is that he kind of just, kind of plays it off and has a little fun with it, even though it's really ridiculous or really cheesy, some of the jokes, but really, really fun. Besides that, action sequences. Some of them are absolutely nuts. All kinds of explosions, people getting, murdered, people just getting killed, being obliterated by bullets, all kinds of crazy off-the-wall stuff. There's some even good fight sequences, including, involving Jet Li, which was really cool in the very beginning of the movie, and also Jean-Claude Van Damme. As old as he is, you wouldn't think that maybe he was, as, nimble as he looks in the movie, but he does some pretty good, awesome sequences with Sylvester Stallone in the climax of the movie. Pretty cool. I really highly suggest if you're an action movie fan, you're going to want to check out this movie. But besides that, the movie doesn't go without its blemishes. A couple things that I do want to note that really kind of annoyed me a little bit. Number one, Jet Li only appears in the beginning parts of the movie, which kind of sucks because he has this really good action sequence, this martial arts, fight scene, that really shows off his abilities. Then after everything that goes down in the beginning of the movie, he kind of leaves and kind of just, goes off on his own way away from the group and you never see him again. And instead we get this other Asian girl that kind of replaces him that, contributes to the overarching plot of the story, which kind of sucks because, again, Jet Li is a phenomenal actor, especially in fight sequences. But it is sad to see him go. I think it probably has something to do with maybe some behind-the-scenes stuff. Either he wasn't getting paid enough or there were some scheduling conflicts or something. But it does kind of suck to see him go. I hope that if there is an Expendables 3, they actually do bring him back because Jet Li is a phenomenal actor. Besides that, also the same thing goes for guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis. They are in the movie. Same thing also with Chuck Norris, I should mention. They are in the movie. However, they're not, seen throughout the entirety of the movie. Because obviously, these guys are getting paid big money, and, they have to kind of, be involved with the plot or somewhat like that. But You only see him in a few key parts, in the beginning, so a couple parts in the middle, and also towards the climax of the film where everybody's getting together and everybody's just beating people down, which is like the really big highlight of this movie, though. The climax of this film is absolutely ridiculous. Anybody who's a big action movie fan from the classic 80s era would be, hugely satisfied at what goes down. Couple other things I do want to mention also. So there's some like story parts that don't kind of make sense, but that was always the case with classic 80s movies. That's the one thing you got to understand. Most of what was made with this movie, unlike its predecessor before, which was much more driving on its star power, this one drives on its star power, but it takes a lot of nuances, a lot of things from those classic 80s eras action movies, and kind of implements them into here. So it's a fun movie. Let me put it that way. It's a fun movie. It's not something where you're going to actually see like a deep story or an intricate plot or development of characters whatsoever. You're only going to this movie to see it for the fun of it. You're actually going to see, if you want to see stuff blow up, you want to see some crazy things go down, this is the movie for you. Also, one other thing that kind of did annoy me, Dolph Lundgren's character. In the past movie, he was a lot more developed, and he actually, a little more interesting. This one, he kind of just comes off as a goofball a little bit, as like the crazy, smart, crazy guy, something like that. It's just really weird. When you see the movie, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, which kind of sucks because Dolph Lundgren is a good actor for what he was, especially in the last Expendables movie, but I don't know what they were going for with this, but it kind of just brings the film down a little bit. So, overall, is The Expendables 2 a good movie? If you like action movies, if you're a fan of classic 80s action movies, if you're a fan of any of these actors that are in this movie, you're going to have a phenomenal time. Like I said, the climax of this film, everybody's together, everybody's blowing stuff up, everybody's just taking dudes down. It is absolutely nuts. And when I was seeing this in the movie theater, people were just going crazy just from seeing guys like Chuck Norris just act like a one-man army and just taking out dudes like crazy, or just when Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis are just together just shooting stuff up. And then here's a crazy scene. You get Arnold Schwarzenegger and Chuck Norris in the same frame and they're doing something. I'm not going to spoil what it is. When you see it, it is absolutely nuts. Everybody in the theater just lost their minds when they saw it. So, fun movie. I recommend it if you love action movies. If you don't, you may want to steer away. It might not be your cup of tea. So, anyway, that's just my opinion, guys. Leave your comments and video responses. I don't mind. Just keep it civil. Let me know what you guys think of this movie. If you've seen it, if you've seen any of the actual movies that any of these superstars have been involved with over the years, put it in the comment section below, and I will talk to you guys again soon. So, I'm the Epic One, Venomousfatman. Peace out, everybody. Stay epic.